Okay, again, welcome family and friends to the first fall PTA meeting. My name is Lincoln Famous, the president of the PTA. And we have our board members, Mel, Vita, Kim, Michelle, our treasurer. The first thing we want to talk about is the elections that's coming up in the next meeting. We're looking for 5 student freshman reps, 1 treasurer, assistant treasurer, and if possible, we need people to volunteer for being but they won't be elected to this position. Okay, and basically, that's what we need. So all information we send out, by email to the entire. As long as you have an email, you will get the information you need. And it will be posted on our website. Our website has been updated today. So you guys can take a look at the PA website and you would have access to see what the position is looking for and what we need. So we send out email on the SAT for Competent Plan. We have at least 80 students as of today. We're expecting more. There's a lot of seniors, and so we like to do that. And a couple of juniors who are getting ready to do the PSAT, which is coming up in next month. Okay, so let's talk about the safety. So I went to, there's a the safety meeting was today, and there's a bunch of questions I know the family and parents has, and basically we're going to be following the DOE rules starting on Monday. So kids will be 3 feet apart in the classroom. All masks must be worn while in classroom. While out in the back here.
I fixed it.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so that's it on the safety. Mr. Newman will cover anything on COVID. So I would like to introduce Mary, our new Pcp Parent Coordinator. She took over from Miss Nottingham. And it's Michelle. Oh, hi, Mary.
Hi.
You want to say a few things?
It's just great to be here, and I enjoy working with a lot of you parents. I've already met a few of you online, and I hope that someday we can meet non-virtually. But it's been great. I've actually met a lot of the kids, and it's just great.
Okay, Michelle has posted the link in the chat for you guys to look at the Treasury Report. You guys can just bring it up and take a quick look at it.
Oh, hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Chung. I am the treasurer. The treasury report should be able to, you should access the treasury report from the chat. It would be the link that Lincoln or Mia is sharing. So this is the report for as of the August, for 2 months, July and August, August 31st. And we are actually not that many transactions, but the annual fund we were able to raise. So it is approximately about $4,000. And then that's all the coming in, and any fund from donations. And the bigger tickets for the expenses for the over the summer is the $30,250 we issued for the Navion system. And the second one is the $2,856 for the constant contract. That is the our email system. Other than that, there will be some minor bill that we're paying for, like for our website subscription, as well as the our accounting system. That's all. So it's simple enough, just because there's not that many transactions over the summer. again, so hopefully in the September, there will be more, people start getting ready and when making donations through our annual fund. If you have any questions about these reports, feel free to, we'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Okay, and let's move on. Okay, and that was the treasury report. We had we lost Miss Sango. There's an emergency with her, so she will not be doing a presentation as we expected today. Okay, is Mr. Newman around? Can we bring him in?
I'm looking forward to the questions, and it's really nice to see so many people. And I will say this, that I'm sorry that we couldn't meet in person. All sorts of logistical issues that make that not available right now. So sorry for that. I would like to meet a lot of people in person, but it's nice to see so many people and so many faces, both new and some not so new faces. So welcome, and I will tell you that coming to PA meetings is the best way to find out information straight from the horse's mouth. I guess I'm the horse in that analogy, but it's you should really come. It's invaluable amounts of information. You get to throw questions at me and see how I dance, which is always fun. I will say that I am looking forward to also doing some breakfast and dinners with the principal and get to meet people in a little bit more of an intimate setting. But anyway, I don't want to talk too long here because I have a feeling you have a lot of questions for me. So let's get to it, Lincoln.
Okay, so we, just let you guys know, we're going to take the question that was sent to me by email. We're going to take those first, and
Okay.
we deal with anyone else in the chat.
Sounds good.
Okay, so the first question: parents are concerned why they're still not getting broken technical correspondence, because some people say it's not fixed.
Okay, let me, so you should be getting correspondence, and if you're not, I guess the simple fix at this point in the game is just send me an email, letting me know what your email is, and therefore, I could add you to the list.
Okay. Okay, so next question is it possible to get physical textbooks for
Please
home?
share the principal's email in chat.
It will be sent in a chat. It will.
Okay, yeah, I'll type that in the chat in a minute.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the question, Lincoln?
It says it's possible to get physical textbook for home use.
Well, we don't really have them to like in mass to be able to give out. So obviously we're using all these e-textbooks and you could access the e-textbooks from home. So it is like you have a textbook at home. So I don't know why you would need the physical textbook, but we don't really have the physical textbooks to really give out. And that's why we went to the e-textbooks for the year.
Okay, so they still can access the textbook at home.
Sure, like
Sure.
e-textbooks. Yeah, sure.
Right. Okay. Now, next question is, what happened to Spanish 3? It looked like there has been a string of substituting teachers.
Yeah. So we've run into some staffing issues, especially in Spanish, some unexpected leaves, some out of nowhere retirements. In the next few days, it will be resolved.
Okay. All right. So there's no truth in Spanish teacher shortage then.
No, I mean, I don't know. Citywide, I'm not really sure. I mean, we were able to find some new teachers to fill these vacancies. I'm not seeing that there's any issues finding somebody. The only issue for us is finding the right person. So I'm not going to be desperate and just pull the trigger on anybody. So I believe we found the right person to accommodate our needs. So I think in the next few days we should be good to go.
Sure. Peter, can you mute anyone other than Mr. Newman and myself? Thank you. Okay, so next question. Is the school store going to be reopened?
It's already open. That I believe it opened up yesterday, and it's going to be open going forward.
Okay. Next question. Someone's referring to the blue card. When parents use the portal, do they still need to send anything in?
Yeah, we have our own blue card. So there is a survey. I'll send the link out to everyone again for the upperclassmen, especially if they want to change the blue card information. So I'll send an updated link. A link so you can.
Do you want
update
a
the
new
information.
Brooklyn Tech card? Are you okay with the fact that you're?
Rita, can you mute? Can you do a mute on everyone other than us? Thanks, Rita. Okay, so we're gonna go into SAT questions.
All right.
Okay, so one parent is saying, okay, so they does Brooklyn Tech offer practice app, ACT?
No.
Okay, and so that's no. So what about
I adore
11th grade? 11th
You were
grade
like, do you
PSAT?
offer? I said, no.
We still have an open line.
Okay,
I could see who it is.
You said no bullshit.
If somebody can mute everyone and
Yeah.
then.
okay, David, I believe you need to unmute yourself. Okay, let's see. You can? Okay, let me see if I can do it. 1 second. Okay.
David, you're a co-host. You should be able to. You're a co-host, Dave. See if
Now
you
I
do it.
can. Yep, I'm good.
Okay. All right, great. So one question is can the 10th grade take PSAT?
The 10th grade is going to take the PSAT in the spring.
Right, in the spring, okay. And because parents saying that they got an email saying that they should sign up for PSAT in October.
So in the October PSAT is for the juniors, and the spring PSAT is for the sophomores, and on the same day the juniors take the SAT. That's in March.
Okay. All right, next question. Now this has to do with pupil path. Okay, so parents says they cannot access pupil path.
So I don't know if you're talking about freshmen particularly or upperclassmen. The freshman parents.
Freshmen in particular.
Yeah, the
Freshman
freshman
parents.
parents will send the pupil path code. But if you're not getting my emails, then you didn't get the code, right? So I could send the code again. So anybody who hasn't been getting my emails, freshman parents, send me an email. I'll get you in the server list. And then when I resend the codes again, you'll get your code.
Yeah, I've been sending out as many pupil path codes as I can. If you already have the codes and it's not working, then you might want to tell, if it's just for the parents, I'm not sure what the issue is for kids and maybe parents. Sometimes you have to delete the pupil path app. You have to register on the browser. There's all these like little things that you need to do, but you can definitely just, I mean, some parents have been emailing me already, and kids can stop by the office and I can print out a letter for them again. So just try to just keep emailing me, and I keep pumping them out, you know, so. If there's other problems, then also call me. We're still having issues with pupil path and other things.
Okay. Another question. Parents is talking about if they have an issue with a teacher, who do they approach to rectify a problem?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing is to be able to handle it with the teacher themselves. If they don't feel comfortable because of the nature of the situation, or they feel it's egregious or something, they talk to that person's supervisor or the assistant principal of that subject.
Okay. All right, so next question is, explain how students supposed to find out who their guidance counselor is. The website doesn't list the guidance counselor by prefix.
So this is just the freshmen, the 9th grade. The other ones do see it in pupil path. probably about 80% of all the guidance counselors at this point for freshmen are in pupil path. 20% are still being inputted. I expect that they'll be in by tomorrow. But all the freshmen were sent an email a number of days ago from their counselor saying, "Hi, I'm your counselor. This is my name. I'm in this room. You could find me." So the students did get an introductory email to their counselor. But if you can't see it already in the 9th grade, the counselor on pupil path, you should be able to see it by tomorrow.
Great, that's a good answer. All right, so now we're gonna go into the question where I've been getting killed a lot in this one. COVID-19. So they're saying, what is the procedure and protocol for COVID-19 testing?
So, so as you know, that you have been submitting information on vaccination status of your children. And so what they do is they take the unvaccinated, and 10% of the unvaccinated are randomly tested each week.
Okay, but parents also said our child was vaccinated, but they still pulled that child out of the classroom to be tested.
Yeah, it probably either didn't show up in the system that they were vaccinated, or maybe it was an error. I would imagine that by the time the student got downstairs, that they were not actually tested once they verified that they were vaccinated.
Okay,
If they were tested and vaccinated, it's because we didn't have in our system that they were vaccinated.
all right. Next, parents want to find out how many COVID cases the school must have in order to go start remote learning, if possible.
That's determined by the DOE, not I. It's really on a case-by-case basis. They're not going in this year and saying, if you have this amount of cases in this period of time, you're absolutely going to get shut down. So it's really in a case-by-case basis. And what is the situation, I guess, behind each of them and the exposure or potential exposure.
Okay.
But that's not closing down the school or moving into full remote is absolutely not my call. That is done from Central.
Okay. Parents would like to know also is, is there a way that they can know what is the number of students that got infected, or,
You mean what percent are vaccinated?
They want to know. They want to know what the percentage of students that got infected based on the mail that you sent out. I think a couple of days ago.
Wait, so how many were potentially exposed?
Yes.
Well, the potential exposure and the necessity to quarantine are two separate things. If you were potentially exposed, but currently potentially exposed and vaccinated, you don't need to quarantine. If starting next week, those rules are changing, and if you are potentially exposed and even unvaccinated, as long as you were at all times wearing a mask and 3 feet away from everyone else, then you're not quarantining. So I think you would find starting next week, there's going to be very limited quarantining, as all of our students are wearing masks at all times and are all 3 feet apart. And even if they're not 3 feet apart at any given time, they have their masks on. So,
Okay.
So the only time that you would have to quarantine is if you were exposed without a mask within 3 feet.
Okay. Follow-up question, that one. Now, if a student is walking from class to class without, are we policing them with them, to see that they have masks on or not? And what can we do?
I mean, yes and no. We are surely not everywhere and anywhere. I mean, the teachers are, gazing out into the hallways and in between passing. We have deans, we have assistant principals, we have a number of people walking to and fro. But we surely don't have the staff for like every 10 feet to have somebody, staring. And I mean, I've surely walked the building and not seen, the only time I've seen students without masks on is if it's in between period. I mean, during a class where they're in the hallway eating or having a drink as following regulation. And then of course in the lunchroom. But
Okay.
yeah, we haven't had any issues of unmasked kids, walking around the hallways.
You just mentioned lunchroom, and that's the next question.
Yeah.
In the lunchroom, students are allowed to gather for lunch in the lunchroom, and are they still 3 feet apart, or what is the procedure for the lunchroom?
They should be at least 3 feet apart. They should be wearing masks when they're not eating. So, I do know that some kids, think in the lunchroom that they can just have their masks off at all times, because they happen to be in the lunchroom, but the mask off is reserved for just at the moment while you're eating. And they should be 3 feet apart. Now, once again, students know this, they're pretty good about keeping the distance, especially when their masks are off in the lunchroom. But we have deans in there walking around telling kids if they're too close to, separate and whatnot. There's also, as you probably know, there's 2 lunchrooms. There's the lunchroom in the auditorium and the actual lunchroom. And we
Right.
did that. So instead of 1,200 kids being in the lunchroom as normal, there's only 600 kids in the lunchroom and another 600 in the auditorium, so that there is space to spread out.
Final question on COVID until I go to the chat, because I know there's going to be a lot in there. Okay, so
Yeah.
parent asking, can they remove their child from school if they see an increase in COVID-19 in the school?
So that's a tricky question.
Yeah, I know.
What you do about your child's education is pretty much up to you. You can, if you remove your child from school because you decide that the school's still open, but you decide it's not a healthy environment, you could apply for home instruction, but you can't just keep your kid home and school's in session, it keeps going, and you just decide to keep your kid home. That you can't do.
Okay, thanks. All right, so that's most of the question I got on COVID. So we're gonna jump into clubs question. So this is, how do students learn about clubs?
So we have a club fair in the beginning of October every single year, and we're going to do that again this year. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. You could just check the daily announcements for clubs being posted now, and the applications. And after the applications close, the CDC will make a club list for the webpage. So there's one up from last year as well. But yeah, so just look out for information, and you'll get plenty of information about the club fair.
Okay. By when can you choose a club? So only the fall you can choose for the club. So this person asking, what if you miss the October club join up? Is there another date you can join and get credit?
So you do sign up at the club fair. You can't randomly join a club months later for full club credit. You won't get full credit. You'll get some credit, but you won't get full credit. So the best thing is to, you sign up for the club fair and you get going from the beginning. If you decide in February, you hear from some friends that there's a cool club and you decide to join, that's fine. You could join. And so no one's going to turn you away, and you'll just get half the credit.
Okay. All right. So this person said, I understand there's a Brooklyn student, BTHS staff shortage. And will that impact student filling out the application for clubs?
No. So no. I mean, no. I mean, I think everything's on pace to start as far as the club fair, normally around the same time. But we have people to do the prep, the setup, get ready for all that. It's not going to impact the number of clubs we run. There's still plenty of faculty members that are very much on board for being mentors of clubs. We're not anticipating, having less clubs because of any staffing issues.
Okay. All right. So we're going to jump into, subject here. Can students submit CR requests for spring class? I'm still waiting for my child's grade to be updated in their transcript.
Wait, so how do they say that again? Start from the beginning?
They said, can their child submit CR requests for spring 2021 classes?
Yeah, you could still do that. There's a survey that you have to fill out for that. I'm gonna just make a note that I need to resend the survey, so I can do that.
Yeah, and they also want to know if there's any deadline to complete that also.
I'm trying to think, like, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if it's to the end of the semester. I'll say the end of the first marking period. That's a safe answer. So I'll send out the CR survey tomorrow, and you have until mid-November to get that in.
All right, thank you. Next question is, lockers are available for students?
Yeah, so what we're doing is we have a date, we're kicking all the students out of the lockers. So what happened is students from the last couple of years have left stuff in lockers, and there's a lot of locks in there, from students that have left school and never came in and picked up their whatever's in there. There might be nothing in there, but simply a lock on the locker. So what we're asking all students to do is get everything out of the locker and take your locks off. And then we are going to clip all the lockers that are remaining. The lockers haven't been cleaned in quite some time, and we're going to clean out all the lockers. And then we're going to let the whole community know, okay, it's time, everybody grab a locker, and it's time to start all over again. But those lockers haven't been cleaned for a couple of years now. So
So a follow-up question to that one, they're saying, is there a special day to pick for a locker, or is it going to be
let
random?
you know when normally what happens is, so the lockers are inside the classrooms, not in the hallway. And so what normally happens is you grab a locker in your first class of the day. So the first class in that room of the day usually gets their pick of those lockers in the classroom. So we'll let you know when it's free, and the teachers will let you know when it's available to start using the lockers again. It's going to take the custodians a couple of weeks to clean them all up.
Okay, and still on subject here. My child is a freshman, and after a few Chinese classes, he wants to change to a different language. Is that possible?
I mean, it depends on the situation and also availability room in the particular class that the child needs. And I'm not going to blow up their schedule and change everything at this point to accommodate. But if it's a quick and easy do under the right circumstances, our assistant principal of Lotte, Miss Santiago Campbell, will help facilitate.
Okay.
I think she's
next
coming
question.
today, right? Isn't she coming
Yeah.
today? Yeah.
No, she's there's an issue. She won't be in today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Next question here. Is there a specific person to be notified for lateness due to transportation delay or absences?
Yeah. And so that would be through the attendance office, and that's spearheaded by Miss Cuesta.
Okay. All right. Next question. Can you please discuss lunch in terms of when available, food choices, costs? Is there a brown bag option, if lines are long?
Brown bag meaning we give out
They
the
bring
brown
their own
bag, or
lunch.
you
They bring their own
bring
lunch.
wait, bringing your own lunch?
Yeah, that's what it meant. That's what brown bag means.
Yeah, I mean, you could bring your own lunch always. So there's that. So look, lunch right now, to be perfectly honest, there are limited options. We're just trying to get through what's going on citywide with staffing issues to make sure that we can feed all the kids. So the normal variety that we offer is not really there. And we're just going to make sure everybody gets a meal right now. And so that's actually the situation currently with and people probably have heard stories of limited food that has happened in the first couple of weeks, and that is due to staffing issues, and we're trying to resolve. I think we have a fix, even if we can't fix the staffing issues, but it is going to yield limited choices, and maybe even not hot food, but we need to feed everyone.
And follow-up question to that. I have a senior daughter, it looked like, yeah. And they're wondering if they're allowed to go outside to have lunch, because
No.
I guess someone had mentioned that before. They're saying,
No. So,
No.
so to be, there are a number of complications with that, and I don't have the staffing currently to monitor all the students coming back in a safe manner. There is actually like an application that principals, I can't just say, okay, we're going to go out to lunch. Like the DOE talks to the police department and other community constituents to see what the feasibility is towards students going out. So we've never been we've been always a captive lunch, which means you can only have lunch inside.
Okay. All right, next question has to do with safety going back and forth between the school. One parent say is, if student leaves school late, is there some sort of, police patrol that, follow them to the subways?
Yeah, well, we have what's known as a safe corridor to Atlantic and also down DeKalb. That safe corridor, you might not know is such a presence, is usually a squad car sitting there with police, watching, or maybe a couple of officers walking back and forth on the corridor. But we surely have a presence and always have.
Okay, the next question, I'm going to take this one. We have given, this is about school calendars, and they want to know the holiday schedules for the fall and the spring coming up. We had ordered calendars for the entire school, and due to the way they publish this is outside the country, and so we're having some issues in getting the full calendars in. Currently, we have paper version of those, which is sitting somewhere. I know Mary had told me where the room is, but at the moment I don't remember. But what we can do is we can hand it out, tomorrow to students to pick up, one of those paper calendar type until until next month when the actual calendar comes in. So, just to answer that question, it has everything. So, but they're talking about now, the second part of that question is, will that include, exam test dates in there? I don't remember if test dates will be in those calendar. But if you want to take that part.
I mean, they'll be on the website. So we're currently, we're transitioning to our new webmaster. I fired the old webmaster, that was me. And so, I was, it was fun while it lasted, but I didn't do such an adequate job, and I had to find somebody a little better than myself. So I do the new webmaster is getting her feet wet and started putting some things on the calendar and started enhancing the cover page and some other aspects, information that we need. So she's going to get around soon to updating our school calendar with all of these events and testing times and everything you need to know as far advanced as we can.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple questions. Folks, please bear with us as there's a lot of questions in the chat, and we're not going to get through all questions. But
Excuse me,
email
Lincoln?
me. Yes.
Excuse me. So we have a request. You're actually cut off, and someone requested to see your handsome face. If you can adjust your camera up.
Okay. Is that better?
There we go.
Yeah. You went
Sorry,
too far.
I'm kind of using my, okay, so folks understand, I'm using my cell phone. I got like several computers here, and I'm working, and I'm working at the same time because I'm trying to solve a production issue at work. So,
You're a
so that's where
multitasker,
my-
sir. Thank you
that's
very
where
much,
my
Eddie. I
mind is.
apologize for interrupting. Go.
It's not, Vito, it's not a problem. I'm good with that. So we're going to take some questions from the chat, but everyone know it's a lot of questions in the chat. It's like I see like 174 questions in the chat. So
Okay.
we're not going to go through all of them, but I will follow up with Mr. Newman and get answer to those questions. Okay. So let's go to the top. So someone is asking, where is the SGO store?
Oh, it's the SGO store is in the middle of the cafeteria. So it's in the 7th floor in the center section.
Okay, and this one said, for the October PSAT, all the students get registered. And that was, and I could answer that question. Ms. Nunlima sent out several emails out and TikTok saying, give the sign up for those, and the sign up date for the October is for the SAT for October is already passed. So what can we do for that person if they didn't sign up for the PSAT, Mr. Newman?
So we're talking about a junior who wants to take the PSAT, right?
Yes, yes.
Have them reach out directly to Miss Nottingham.
Okay.
And I'm sure we've padded it a little bit and ordered some extra exams. So reach out to her and she should be able to accommodate. The sooner the better.
And the follow-up to that one is that is free, correct?
Yes. Well, it's free to you. The school's paying for it.
Okay, no problem. This person says, Lincoln, we should ask David to talk about all the current COVID protocol. That's going to take too long.
I don't know what they want to know in particular. I mean, look, we have PPE all over the place. Students are wearing, everyone is wearing masks all the time in the building, from me to the students, to the teachers, to everybody in between. I don't know. I mean, we're socially distant by 3 feet and wearing masks at all times in the classroom, outside the classroom. I have to be honest, as you can imagine, the hallways are fairly crowded. Kids are all wearing masks and they're moving. That's the key. They keep moving. No one's staying near anybody for minutes and minutes at a time. Everybody's just moving and wearing masks.
Okay, all right. So I apologize to everyone. Someone's saying this is, they couldn't get in for so long. We only allow, 300, we can admit 300 people. But we will try to update that the next time. Okay, so next question. Okay, here we go. Amazon charity may be one of the fundraiser. So someone's asked about fundraiser. I take that later. I will respond that at a later date. Okay. Yeah, the percentage of students vaccinated. Do you know that, Mr. Newman?
I do. We are somewhere around 86%.
Okay. All right. Question 1: bathroom. Only one in the entire building, which is not true.
No.
So,
No, we got a lot of bathrooms.
Yeah, I know that question. And 2, assigning seat, but the student can't see due to vision issue.
Tell the teacher.
Who can they contact?
Yeah, just talk to the teacher. In the classroom, if you can't see, advocate for yourself, tell the teacher. The teacher will absolutely move your seat. No problem.
Okay. And there's a question. Somebody reached out to me by Lincoln. And so the issue that they're saying, about the mask, that the teacher where the student cannot see what the teacher is saying. I don't know why you need to see, but they're saying that, we should have a see-through mask for all the teachers.
I mean, look, I last year I got Bluetooth headsets with microphones, like really nice ones for teachers to be able to teach remotely. They still all have them. So they could use those, and then they have a microphone in them, and they could launch a Zoom behind them, and so
Okay.
the kids, a blank Zoom, and kids could hear the audio. So if they tell their teachers that if they tell the teachers they're having a problem hearing them, teachers have a way to amplify their voice. So I mean that's a lot better than having a clear mask and just being able to lip read.
Okay. Question. If the student is having issue, you're the teacher, is there a way we can rearrange the desk so that that student is more closer up front, or, you know,
Yeah,
do
yeah, I
some
mean,
furniture rearrangement?
that individual kid should, you know, advocate for themselves and tell the teacher, and the teacher will move their seat. Absolutely.
Okay, all right, no problem. Next question. Oh, this person's asking why is it taking so long to make lockers available, but basically you already answered that question up front. Next question is indoor gym closed for the entire year?
No. So students are using the indoor gyms currently.
Oh, okay. Next question, student as the first empty their locker, then, all right, so we got to that one.
All right.
Okay. All right, so any other questions? Oh, one last thing. The 10th grade, can the 10th grade take the SAT in March?
The 10th grade
Yeah,
is
not
not.
PSAT, not PSAT,
Right.
but SAT.
Students can take the SAT, but on their own. They're not going to take it. Well, they could take it in the school, but on a weekend offering if we make a weekend offering. But we're not going to have students take the in-school one in March with the juniors. That is a fee waived one for only juniors.
Okay. All right, the next question is, can the PA meeting be in person and have the option, a virtual option?
So I'll just explain the logistics just to be transparent around that. So first of all, I have a deal with the custodians that everyone, including myself, leaves the building at 5:30 every day. They have to do this electrostatic spraying of every square inch of the building. There's a lot of square inches of my building, and we were talking a little bit about staffing issues before, and the custodians are no different. They have staffing issues as well. So all clubs, teams, people have to be at the building by 5:30. Your meetings are later than that. So that's one.
Right.
The other thing is that it takes them, and because we've made the auditorium into a lunchroom, it takes them a very long time to clean the auditorium even before they electric static spray it. So it's just a cleanly cleaning, properly disinfecting the building issue. And if, you know, these meetings sometimes go to, 7:30, 8 o'clock, I mean, it's 7:30 already, right?
Yes.
They can't first start spraying the school and disinfecting the school at 8:30. It won't be ready for the morning. So that's the problem. Now, if the provisions change that they don't have to electrostatic spray the whole building anymore, then it's a different game.
Okay, I got a couple more questions. My son asked to change a class change and nothing has happened yet. What will take place to complete that change?
Program changes are rolling. So you might see program changes for some people and then not for you yet. They're rolling. So as we do a program change, you could see it live. And so the programmer is just banging them all out. And so that will happen all the way through the end of Monday. And so after Monday, they should be all done. At the end of the day on Monday, they should be all done. I can let people know if they're not done by the end of Monday, but so there's still a lot to be done. So just because you haven't seen a change doesn't mean it's not happening and somebody else got one 3 days before. It just means either they submitted it earlier, it was in the queue first, whatever it is.
Okay, and I got a personal question for you. My son was just told today that one of his class got changed from third period, I think, to a later period.
Okay.
And, he's not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah,
so I told him to talk to
equalization. He's a victim of equalization. So classes, classes are usually around 34, but they cannot exceed 34. And we have until the end of the day on Monday to get all the classes down to 34. There are some oversized classes. Your son was probably in a class that had 35, 36 kids, and we were seeing if some kids weren't going to show up. We moved things around a little bit. But if there's still 35, 36 around now, we have to start randomly picking some kids to move, and it's not really random. It's the least path of resistance. So probably your son had like a really easy switch to switch into another class, and it didn't harm his schedule in any other way. So you might see some moves just as we're equalizing classes. Classes cannot be over 34 after Monday.
Okay. All right, got it. All right, last two more questions and then I call it.
All right.
So this one says, my son is a junior and has not received any club credit, since his freshman year. How can they rectify that issue?
Yeah, I find Miss Massey. Miss Massey is our head COSA, and she's very accessible. Everybody should know where she is and who she is. She'll figure out the situation and remedy it.
Okay. All right. So to let you guys know, any other question that I have not gotten to, I will respond to your question personally, even if I have to track down Mr. Newman. By the way, I'm going to be in the building tomorrow, just to let you know.
All
Okay.
right. Then you really will track me down. I'm going to try to answer some questions in the chat maybe as we go along.
Okay. All right. So technically, we could call this meeting finished. So unless you want to take more questions.
No, I will. That's fine. No, I'd rather do that. There seems to be a number of questions, and I didn't realize you didn't have anything else. If you're willing to stay, I'm surely willing to stay. I'm always willing to answer.
Yes, we can. As
All
long as
right,
you're willing to answer them.
Let's
Yes.
jam them out. Let's do it.
Okay. Let me get back in there for a
Let me
moment.
find Miss Massey's email.
Yeah, if you could post Miss Massey in, that'd be great.
Yeah. I saw a number of questions about a little bit about the reconfiguration of a student and parent engagement and COSAs and parent coordinator. So why don't I saw a few people ask about that. So I guess I'll explain that. Well, it's a little bit of a story, but follow with me here. So about before COVID, shortly before COVID, we had a retiree who was the AP of testing, and testing is a huge job in our school, as you very well know. We give more AP exams than any place in the country, well, in the world actually, and Regents, which is not as big of a deal, but is a big of a deal because we give so many of them, right? And so more than anybody, obviously, in the state, right? So it's a huge undertaking to organize huge exams of that level. So my AP of testing retired, but then when COVID came about, I wasn't sure what the budget was going to look like, so I didn't replace our AP of testing, and I banked that testing would be all done online, and it did turn out that it was all done online, and the Regents were even canceled. So I had another person, another AP admin, doing that responsibility. But now that we're back in person and all the exams are going to be in person, it is a huge undertaking. Of freshman and sophomore parents, you should know, the city added another exam, which all of your kids, for all freshmen and sophomores, will have to take benchmark assessments in math and in English 3 times in the year, right? So now you're talking about there's 3 more times, 3 days it added into the year where I have to give exams for 3,000 kids at the same time. These are huge things to set up. Testing needs a dedicated AP. So I'm going to put that, so there was that need, right? And we thought, I thought Miss Nottingham would do a great job. She's great at organizing big things. And so we slid her over there. And then the sort of the student and parent piece then got like bifurcated, right? So instead of one person handling all student activities and handling all of the parent, situations and interactions and being a liaison in that way, we've bifurcated them, and now we have a head COSA, right, who has more time during the day to dedicate to being a COSA, and we're adding an additional COSA. So the kids are actually getting, more oversight and attention than they've gotten before. And then we have Mary, who is our parent coordinator, who her life is parents, right? And her life is not about student life and all that other. She's just about parents and dedicating her time to you. So each entity got more attention, and we have the right person to spearhead our testing, which, like it or not, is a huge focus of our school. So that's sort of the, I hope that wasn't so long-winded, but it was,
Yeah.
I wanted to sort of explain, I think that answered like 3 or 4 different questions about the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, coordinator of
Yes.
student activities, thank you. That's what a COSA is, coordinator of student activities.
All right, just another question here. Where my son's school can do is prayer because he's a Muslim.
Yeah.
You know,
So we have what we call the breezeway. The breezeway is the space between the auditorium and the gym on the first floor. It's like its own private little hallway on the south side of the building that most students do not use. We've always had this place as a place for prayer. So that's where it is. I'm currently configuring schedules. The students know, but you should know that we get all students who want to pray 8th period as their lunch, so they could pray all together at that particular time. But it's in the breezeway. The reason it's not in the classroom is, 1, there's too many kids for it to be in a classroom. And in COVID times, it can't do that. 2, it's much easier to supervise in the breezeway. Like I could supervise it without supervising it, right?
Okay.
And so if it was in a classroom, I'd have to stick a teacher in there. And then there's all sorts of weird rules about teachers and prayer. And so it's just easier and better to put in the open breezeway where anyone could supervise it, but yet it's not, and it's in a healthy sort of social distance way.
okay. All right. Are we allowed to talk about teacher vaccinations?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Well, the person says teacher vaccination. Are
Yeah.
the teachers vaccinated? Are they?
An extremely high percentage.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. When is the due date and then the PAL, PSAL, medical parents form?
I don't know. That's an athletic director question. I don't really have the answer to that. I'm sorry, but that is something you should obviously ask your coach. If you don't know who the coach is and you're trying to like first come on a team, ask the athletic director. Let me, I keep talking about people. Let me start putting some emails in the chat so you can know what I'm talking about. So I'll put in Miss Massey and the athletic director, Mr. Ciccolini.
Okay. What are you doing now? There's another question. Where do you see club credits? And how do you know if you complete the requirement for your club credits?
I don't know how you see that. That is also a Massey question.
I can put Massey's in. I'll put Massey's in.
Okay, I'm putting Anthony's in.
All right, so we're coming to this one, and I think homework question. My son is having 3 hours of homework each evening. Is this normal?
Wait, what was that? Say it again.
My son is having 3 hours of homework each evening. Is this normal?
Absolutely. 3 hours is the number. That's a good number.
Oh, that's a good. Okay.
I mean, depending on who you ask, but that is a completely acceptable number at our school.
All right, and this person said, any parents whose kids take the Metronaut line, is there some sort of group that takes train?
So the students are actually trying to organize this. They have like this Google form that they're having students fill out so they can meet up together and come to school together. So the SGO students are all doing that. I will tell them to send that out again, but that is one of their initiatives for the year.
All right, next question. Do students need to submit medical form to school? Yes, that's true, because I did submit my son's. So, and they didn't. So they want to know, where do they get the medical form, and where do they submit, and how do they submit it?
The medical form for what?
Student medical form. This is I guess it's regular medical that gets submitted.
For like the PSAL?
No, this seems like just for regular medical forms. I guess they're coming from a middle school freshman, and they, each day I guess they have to submit some medical form. I guess. Do we do that? Because I know I submit for my
I
son
don't
for
know what that
PSL.
is. Like, is it, I don't know what reasons that's for. Like if it's a
Okay.
medical, if it's a medical form that you want to use, like the elevators, because you have a medical issue that you submit to Miss Iacona so you can get an elevator pass.
Okay.
As you probably know, students cannot use the elevator, only ones with medical. Yeah, so a regular medical form. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I know I submit mine for my son for the PSL, PSA.
Yeah,
child.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
But regularly, if you have a special issue, like you need an EpiPen or something like that, there is something to fill out with the nurse, right? EpiPen for allergies. That's with the nurse on the third floor on the west side.
Okay.
But if you don't have any of these things, there's not a medical form for everyone, just if you
Okay.
have some issues that we need to know about.
Sure. Is there a concern with staffing for the next week due to COVID vaccine requirement in terms of
Let's say that again.
is there a concern with staffing for next week due to COVID vaccine requirement in terms of teachers?
I guess I'll let you know on Tuesday. I mean, there's still things in flux. I will say that. Oh, I see. Just to go back a second. Yeah, you're talking about vaccination updates. So that's what they're
Yeah.
talking about, medical forms. Yes, we do need to get but that's sent from other schools. If you're coming from a charter, if
Yeah.
we might have it anyway. If we don't have it, we will find you. So very soon they will send us a list of people that they're not sure if the vaccine. I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about all those vaccinations you have to get as a kid, right? If we
Right.
don't have it, we will contact you and let you know. So we'll find you if we don't have it. Don't worry about
okay.
that. So wait, what was the question we were just, I lost my train of thought. What were you just asking me?
Let me go back to that one. This one was asking if there's any concern due to COVID.
Oh, staffing.
vaccine,
Right.
I-
So
it-
yeah,
ahead.
so I will say that that we've tried to make every effort. I actually have a great partner of ours in Rite Aid, which is fortunate enough to come every year and gives flu vaccinations to our staff in the building. So I asked them to come and give COVID vaccination. So I actually have Rite Aid coming tomorrow to the building to give any adult, not kids, any adult who wants a vaccination can get one tomorrow. And then they could upload it right into the DOE system to prove their vaccination if they haven't done so already. And also everybody can get flu vaccinations tomorrow as well. So I'm trying to make every single availability to make sure that you get vaccinated. There are still a number of people that we do not have evidence of vaccination yet, but they do get until Monday. So, and I am providing that opportunity tomorrow. So I don't really know where it's going to be until Monday.
Okay. All right. This question seems for me, I guess. Are parents expect to make donation to the PA? And how do you make donation? Well, we ask for donation to help, facilitate this, what the school needs, what student need. It would be nice to donate. And if you want to, you can use the website. It's up to date. My communication person, Maya, did a great job in getting it all done today. And I thank her very much for that one. Okay, so I guess the next one is mine then. Is there a PA group for parents of student with disability? I'm not quite sure what they mean, PA group. But Mr. Newman, you want to take that one? I'm not quite sure what they mean.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not aware. I know there were a couple of years back. There were some parents who had students who were in special education that used to meet. I don't know how formal that is, and I don't know if that's still going on.
Oh, okay. So will the remote learning be provided for kids in quarantine? So if a kid is asked, would there be remote access for them?
So there is no remote learning at all. If you are if you have to quarantine, because the school is ordering you to quarantine because you've been possibly exposed to COVID, teachers are mandated to give office hours to you, and also put up asynchronous work for you to do to keep abreast of what's going on in class and to keep up. But there are no like synchronous remote classes. There's none of that.
Okay, all right. So then the next question is, there's no Google Access either classroom, so we can skip that one. Camille had pointed out, feel free to write her. There is a special ed group that a former parent started and will reopen for kids with special need.
Okay.
Thanks, Camille. Okay. Is there a Facebook group for parents to ask each other questions? Evita, do you know? I mean, we have a Facebook for PA, but I'm not quite sure if we have I know about a Facebook for parents to talk to each other. Vita, do you have any idea about that?
Yep. So it's posted. I do moderate that. Sometimes it gets a little dicey because we don't edit it, and we don't edit it unless there's very bad stuff on there. It's a little bit of free for all, but I'm a free speech guy, and people can ask questions and talk about things, and it's up, and I put it in the chat.
Oh, thanks, Vita. Okay.
Will not tolerate rude behavior.
I got it. Thank you. Yeah, I see it, Vita. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. My son is a new sophomore. His program was changed, and now he has 2 free periods in a row. Is there, if you count lunch, it will be 3 free period in a row. He did not ask for this change. We feel this is a waste, and I would love to find a better solution for his schedule.
I mean, it's possible we could crunch the schedule and consolidate it. It was obviously done as we were talking about, as I was talking to Lincoln before, about an oversized class, right? So kids do like 3 periods during the day. I will tell you, to do homework that's due maybe even that day. They start relying on that, or homework, or getting ahead and doing homework for the next day. So kids don't seem to mind so much. If a kid really does mind and wants us to crunch the day so we can get home a little bit earlier, it's a possibility that we can look into.
Okay, so I'm gonna ignore this question. But the person, I read it out anyway. How many teachers will you lose on Monday? So that's why I'm passing that question.
We don't know yet.
Okay.
Well, one way or another, I'll tell you, I mean, this is one of many challenges that we have gone through opening up this year, and and last year as well. We'll be fine one way or another. I will tell you that Miss Nottingham just texted me and said all juniors are automatically registered for the PSAT. There's no registration at all. There's an exam for all of them. They don't have to do anything.
Oh, cool. All right. So then, all right, that answered that question.
Okay.
All right, so here's this question. I'm trying to find out where academic requirements are. My son is a junior, told me that trying to add a science is the last priority since it's not required.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I mean, it's just because you don't particularly need it to graduate doesn't mean that it's not a priority. So we run plenty of classes that you don't need to graduate, but we see as a priority, including our vast AP classes. So yeah, I mean, but you could find on the website the classes that you need to graduate, and then of course, depending on your major, what extra classes you'll be taking and whatnot, and what classes are available as electives that you could take, above and beyond, right? But a lot of kids do take these classes. Like it's, for example, calculus is not mandatory but everybody basically takes calculus, either regular
Okay.
calculus now or AP calculus. So it's, 4 years of a language. We encourage all of these things. And so, so it's not like we don't have sections of them, so you don't have the availability to really take these rigorous classes. We know everybody wants to take them, and they are available.
Okay. All right, next question. This has to do with SEER again. So this one, can a junior student still change its freshman year grade of 65 to SEER?
No.
Okay. That's
And 2
okay.
years ago, by the way, CRs didn't even exist. CR
Yeah,
was a COVID thing. It only came about in COVID. But you only get basically a semester after the grade to make that decision.
Okay. Next question. Are kids excused from being late due to train issues?
They can be, so they could submit that with the attendance office and it'll be excused. But I mean, I don't know. We throw around this excused and not excused. I mean, there's not really such a line of demarcation, like between the two. There could be, like if you have an assignment due and you miss a number of days of school and it's unexcused, right? You could get a penalty on that assignment. If it's excused, you will not get a penalty on the assignment. I think that's the only differentiation. If you come to class late and you have an excuse, I mean, I guess that would make your teacher feel a little bit better about it, and it would be a little bit more respectful of the teacher and their class. But it's not going to really ding your grade either way. But I think it is a sign of respect that, letting them know that you wanted to be there and something happened, and that's
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Can Tech arrange school bus, especially for these unusual circumstances?
So you're talking about in COVID? Like, I
Yeah.
think that would be the opposite. I don't think we want to get into the bus game, especially because of COVID. I will tell you, all transportation on buses and school trips are on hold currently and indefinitely. We don't even have buses for PSAL athletics. So the notion of jamming kids in a bus together is not something that the DOE is looking to do right now.
Okay. All right. So this person, you already answered this question. I'm coming from a charter school, and medical form are needed each year. Vaccination update. So,
Right.
as you said, if you need them, yes.
Yep.
Of course. Okay. So, all right. Now, there, as you said, Miss Nunham already sent the information. The sign up date is students are registered for the PSAT automatically. So we can skip that question. Is it too late to change change the language class?
There's a million different scenarios on this. You really have to contact Miss Santiago Campbell to hear what your situation is, what you want to do, and see if the variables work out.
Okay, and so the next question. My daughter's a freshman. Is it too late for her to switch to another language class? That answer that question. Just
Keep going. Yeah, same thing.
Yes. Okay. I never received information regarding PSAT. What is the date for the PSAT?
The 13th, I think, October 13th.
Okay. Please provide information. The same thing. October 13th for that one. Our juniors automatically register, yes, for the PSAT. Okay. How can I get my academic question answered? Who should I speak to?
An academic question? I mean, you're going to go to the assistant principal of that discipline. So if it's mathematics, the assistant principal of math. We have 2 assistant principals of science, English, social studies. Every discipline has an assistant principal. You want information about that discipline, that's where you go.
Okay, and this parent is complaining, saying the physics teacher is not teaching and our child is struggling. How can they switch classes?
The teacher is not teaching?
That's what this person said. Yeah.
What are they doing? We do not allow students to switch classes based on teacher preference or issues with teachers. I mean, if there is a glaring issue, then, and we feel that there is a irreparable damage to that relationship between the student and the teacher, that's a different story. But normally, you know, we're like, oh, I don't really like this teacher. We're not switching for that. As you can imagine, I'd have 6,000 kids who want to switch one of their classes at some point, and we're pretty, you know, the schedule, as you might understand, is it's like a pretty good game of Tetris, you know, and it's you can't just start throwing things into the winds. It has a huge domino effect.
Okay, all right. So this parent is saying, I have allergy, fill in, out, and then an adult to have to bring the form in, and the EpiPen must have the RX sticker also, and not open as well
Yeah.
as a new unopened bottle. Okay, a
Yeah,
Benadryl.
it's not, like, there's all sorts of regulations with EpiPens and the nurse and whatever. They have to just do what the nurse says. And so, and the nurse can administer the EpiPen, and the nurse can hold on to the EpiPen, but it has to be labeled in a certain way and done in a certain way. I don't know all those regulations. Sounds like you rattled them all off right just now, Lincoln, but yeah, they have to follow the regulations.
I was trying. Yeah, I can tell you. I can answer that question from, you know, my daughter, because the nurse allow you have to take a EpiPen. It has to be unopened. It has to have the, you know, like you get it just from the pharmacy and take it there, and the nurse would hold on to that pen until the child needs it. If you're gonna use Benadryl or any, you know, form of Benadryl, it has to be unopened, and once it's used, they expect you to bring a new one in. All right, so this is based on my experience right now. Okay. All right, so we are not receiving any email of comment. Okay, so, well, Mr. Nana did send email out on the PSAT, because I did see email out. And so we can ask her to resend it if that's possible. You know, yeah, we could do that. That's not an issue. Okay, next question. Marvin, could Mr. Newman classify question regarding junior and PSAT? I think he did that already. Unless there's something else you want to add to that, Mr. Newman?
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay. That's donation. Do student get goggles for labs? And does teacher provide?
The teachers did not normally provide. I think they have to buy the goggles.
Okay. All right. Okay. I was told goggles would be provided by the teachers.
I could be wrong on that. I think it depends on the course. I think there's some, I'm trying to think, there is some, so is it for a science lab?
Yes, this is a science lab.
Yeah, I think there's some particular courses where they have goggles, like anatomy, and there's some particular courses that you need to buy goggles. So they just have to do what their teacher tells you. If the teacher has goggles available, and look, even if you have to buy goggles, there's always goggles available for you to use if you forget your goggles, or you know, you're not able to get the lab.
Okay. All right, and this question came in from the outside. I'm just going to read it off for you. My child, though, do not go to tech anymore, but they're still getting email from the school saying our child is absent from school.
Yeah. So what's happened is that you have not provided likely the information of where your student is attending. So we need proof to discharge a student. We need proof that you're attending another school. We can't just take your word for it.
Okay. All right. So I can reply back to that person.
You can email me.
Later. I can email it to you. No problem. Okay. Next question. My son received an email from school saying he is registered for the 10-13 PCT. I believe they automatically registered because he didn't do anything. That is true. He's automatically registered. What is the maximum number of kids per class, which he already told us, which is like 34? Okay, one person said they did not receive a PSAT email, which is another question above. So we can ask Ms. Nunham to resend that. Resend it. Because only the juniors who are taking the PSAT will get the email, not the entire school. That is correct, right, Mr. Newman?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. If students are being picked up in the middle of the day, the person picking up the student must be on the blue card.
Yes.
Okay.
And vaccinated. You're not getting in
And
the building unless you're vaccinated.
Oh, okay. So they have to show
Yep.
proof of vaccination?
Yeah, you do. So that's a
Okay.
good thing for everybody to know. So you must come, you have to come with your card to get in the building. Now, if you don't have your card, you can still get your child, but we're going to deliver them to you on the street.
Oh, kids are only delivered into the security office.
Oh, okay. Got
They
you.
don't come,
Okay.
they don't come upstairs. So basically you have to have your blue card. You have to make sure whoever is picking up your kid is on the blue card. Because I've had 3 incidents today when they were not, and I had to call the parent to get an okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you need to refill out your blue card again, you please do.
Okay, so this person is asks, what about change to the policy regarding leaving and entering the building? That's all the questions. So
Leaving and entering the building.
Yeah.
So like if a student wants to come, like they don't have a 9th or 10th period and they want to leave and come back for a club afterwards, you could do that.
Okay.
So that's
But
when.
they can't come back after 10th period. They have to come back before 10th period.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
All right.
Okay, my daughter has opposite issue. She has 3 periods of lunch, and she's trying to get rid of. She has to wake up early and come back home late. How can she get a change?
Yeah, we could see after all the changes are made, we could see what we could do.
Okay. This is another question that came in. Do you have any students on Staten Island? And so I don't know why they're asking that question unless their kids on Staten Island. Do you know, Mr. Neiman, if there's any kids enter the school from Staten Island?
Sure there are. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, so I guess that answered that question.
Yeah, there's a bunch of schools, kids from Staten Island, and we should be able to get the SGO to get those kids to meet up if they want to. Also, students traveling really far, Staten Island, Bronx, we try to get them a little bit later schedules, not to start first period. We're very mindful of that. So if that's
Okay.
an issue, Staten Island, Bronx, let us know.
All right, no problem. What is CR? That's one question.
Credit. So it's just a credit. It's like a pass. So instead of having a numerical grade, you change it to a CR. You have a 68, you don't like the 68, you think it brings down your average, you change it to a CR,
Okay.
then it doesn't affect your average. It's not in your average anymore.
All right, so there's a person saying, who do we ask about changing grade from last semester?
Changing grades? I don't know what that
Yeah,
means.
I don't know what that means either,
You don't
but
get to
that's
just
the
change
question.
grades. But if you're talking about appeal grades that you don't agree with the grade, we have a grade appeal committee, and you get a form out of my office, and on the form it explains what you need to do, and then ultimately your evidence goes to a grade appeal committee of 3 teachers who make a binding decision.
Okay. Next question. My son is a senior, and I was wondering how senior trip would look like this year.
What a senior trip?
Yeah.
The international senior trip is very likely not going to happen.
Okay.
And the other trips that we take, the winter trip,
Yes.
masquerade ball, all those fun things are very likely not to happen.
Okay. And this person is asking for the email for attendance office.
That could be emailed. I'll put that up right now. That Ms. Cuesta's office is El Cuesta. I think it's El Cuesta. Let me see. It is El Cuesta at schools. Let's see that. Okay, I just put it in the chat. That's the attendance office.
Okay. Okay, next question. Are we gonna have a college fair like the old times? I don't know what the old times mean, but
I don't know. I mean, that's another thing, right? Are the colleges gonna be willing to send people down like they used to? Are we gonna be able to host that? That's a good question. I think we'll have to see. It might have to be done virtually, which does have some advantages as well. You could have a Zoom and you could have much more participation by many colleges with breakout sessions and whatnot. It could be done very effectively, but we'll see what we're allowed to do.
okay, I'm gonna skip this one. This year already spoke on the club, how to join the club. So, okay, next, would you let us know what time this PA meeting is scheduled to end?
Anytime now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Okay, program change from earlier and later start and end requests are going through as scheduled, are balanced. That's Mary responding to someone. Okay. All right. Assuming this is the year, as it says on the UFT page, for high school students, ensure that the school remote learning program prioritize the courses and exam prep that students need to stay on track towards graduation.
I don't know what they mean by remote. There's no remote learning.
Yeah, I know,
So I don't
but I
know.
just have to read that anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what they're asking.
Okay. Now this one has to do with IEP. Where would we find information for IEP? I think I sent a mail. This is the second one I got. I think I sent a mail saying they should talk to Mr. Ventura.
Absolutely.
Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm good. Okay, so Mr. Ventura is the right person. Okay. At least I answer a right question. Okay. Is it possible to change your major?
No. I mean,
Okay.
well, it depends on that. There's a sweet spot. Like there's a time that it's possible. If you are a sophomore and you pick your major in like March, then you find out your major in April. After it's all said and done, between April and June, if you want to switch your major to a major that has a spot in it, I will allow that. After
Okay.
June, so right now, if you're a junior and you're 2 weeks into your classes and you're like, I want to switch my major, it's not happening for you. And so it's only then there's going to be no space. And even if there's space in a particular major you want to go to, that means like 2 weeks in, I have to blow up your entire schedule. Every one of your classes and every one of your teachers are going to change. And you might think it's worthwhile, but I'm putting you way behind the 8 ball across all your classes by doing so. So.
Okay.
And wait, so they email you?
Yes, they did.
They
I can
email,
forward you the mail.
okay.
Yeah, I can forward you the email. I got like I'm looking at it. Some emails. I have like 45 now, but I don't think I can read all of those. Okay.
Mr. Ventura, by the way, just told me that there will be a parent meeting next week for all special education parents. He will be sending a meeting, an email to out shortly to let them know of the meeting next week.
Oh, okay, great.
All right.
That'd be great. Can you please answer a question about college counselor? Is it the only one concerning seniors so far? I'm not quite sure I understand that question.
I don't understand the question either.
Yeah.
We have more than one college counselor. I don't know what they're asking.
Yeah, I know each college counselor assigned. I mean, for seniors, come to their last name, the letter in their last name. They're assigned
okay.
to each college counselor, as far as I know.
Right.
And-
Yeah, they have like a caseload of seniors.
Yes.
Each of the 3 college counselors. I really have 3.5 college counselors. So yeah, they divide up all the seniors.
Right. And if they need further question, we can send them to Miss Veronica Quick.
Yes, that's fine. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. The PA would look at IEP issue. Let us know your specific concern. Okay, no problem. Okay. I'm just gonna ignore that one. Doesn't make sense. Okay, of course, yeah. Okay, so for IEPs, we refer them to Mr. Ventura. We take care of that. What happens to students if they don't have enough club credit for graduation?
Senior year, they better join a lot of clubs.
Okay. All right, so juniors didn't receive email, but we could actually send them to resend for anyone that's missing it. All juniors are automatically ready for the PSAT. A global teacher was absent since last Tuesday. Kellar, what is the situation and how will this be rectified?
I don't know what his personal situation is, so it's I would imagine that somebody is sick or something. But if it was COVID related, you would know.
Okay, do we need to physically fill out the new blue cards?
Not physically, virtually.
Yeah, it's virtual. That's physically, but okay. All right. Okay, so are we doing election for freshmen? Yes, we're gonna do election in next month during the next the PA meeting for freshmen and for assistant treasurer. So all that information will get sent out. I will try to get everything ready and what needs to be done and try to send it out before the next PA meeting so we can have a election. Okay, can student please explain the new policy regarding the building of enter the building to kids? Not quite sure what that's trying to be. Okay, will parents be able to go in person for parents teacher conference in November?
They're all virtual this year.
Okay, they're all virtual. Okay, no problem. Okay, that's all the questions we got. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So there, some of the questions were already responded to. So, okay.
I have a question that I'm getting a lot
Yeah.
of, which is about, did you see my question, Lincoln? About,
Okay, no, I must have missed your question. Which one is your question?
so lunch. I get lots of questions about lunch, more lunch and more lunch. First of all, do students have to, they have to swipe in for their lunch, right? But for their more lunch and their extra lunch or their lunch gap, whatever it is there any place they can go besides the cafeteria or the library? And when is the cafeteria auditorium, and when is the library going to be open?
Yeah, the library should be open shortly. It's the auditorium, the mezzanine upstairs, because the students will be eating downstairs, and so it's the auditorium or the library. So that's that. But yeah, I mean, so lunch, more lunch, the lunch is your lunch. The more lunch and the so much lunch and all the other lunch nomenclature derivatives of lunch are just free periods. We just call them more lunch, right? So that's it. But yeah, the library should be open soon, and hopefully also the student union will be open soon. That's also a little bit of a victim right now of staffing issues, being able to have people to supervise it.
Okay, this question just came in actually, or I may have just missed it. I was told last week by DOE that field trip guidance is forthcoming.
Yeah, currently there are no field trips. We've been waiting on guidance to see if there would be modifications to that, allowing certain local trips under certain conditions, but we are awaiting guidance. They do say that guidance is coming.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can my son take AP Physics C and AP Calculus BC this year. He's a sophomore and he knows this whole program as he is engaged in independently. He's independently and is very interested in physics and math.
That person should reach out to me. We'd have to look at their program and see what, I mean, it's a little bit early in the game for those courses. But let's see where the student is at to see if those courses would be appropriate. I mean, you start tackling courses like that so early on, it leaves huge gaps in your schedule later on, you know? So
Okay.
you got to pace yourself a bit.
All right. Question, what does it mean by major?
Oh, so welcome to Brooklyn Tech. We are majors is what we're all about. And so instead of at a normal school, you have, and by state mandate, you have a certain number of credits that are elective credits. At Brooklyn Tech, you pick a major, and based on your major, you have a cadre of classes that are all based around a theme, like law or mechatronics and robotics or biological sciences, and those count as your elective credits, but they're bunched together around. So for example, your elective credits in law would all be law courses, and that would be your elective classes. So we have an area concentration in junior and senior year, 2 classes in your junior year, 3 classes in your senior year will be in that discipline.
Okay. And next question, where do students go to sign up for club? I feel like a lot of students don't know where to go.
Just wait for the club fair. So club fair in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Courses are all online with description. Okay, that's from Marine. Okay, my son is a new applicant for discount for the LIRR ticket. I filled out the Google form, but haven't received any response. Will I get a response in time for his October ticket?
Hopefully so. You need to contact Ms. Nottingham, who spearheads transportation as well as testing.
Okay. Can you please share with which AP my son should contact regarding a grade change?
A grade change. So once again, I think
Yeah.
that's looking at the appeal process, right? Assistant principals nor myself change grades. If you have an issue with a grade that you don't think is fair, goes to a grade appeal committee. The student must talk to the teacher themselves, then the assistant principal, and then after that, it does go with all evidence to support their claim, goes to a panel of 3 teachers who make a binding decision. And if they decide to change the grade and what it's changed to, that is it. If it's a
Okay.
clerical error with their grade, I see a follow-up, it's a clerical error, just go to the teacher and they'll correct it. So if a teacher
Alright.
tells me to change the grade, it gets changed.
Okay, did the new student launch open as yet?
The new student, a lounge?
Uh,
Oh, that's the student union. It's way bigger than a
that's right.
lounge. It's really, really cool. It's just not open yet because I have staffing issues. I have no one to supervise it currently. Hopefully in a few weeks that will change. Hopefully Monday will not be catastrophic to add more, bumps in the road on that. But it's just, I don't have the bandwidth. All the people are supervising other things. So currently, but the room's ready to go.
Okay, so this parent was asking, can we get specific information about major change? My son wants to change from aerospace to software engineer.
Yeah, that's not happening. Sorry. Software
Okay.
engineering is the most sought after major. It is all locked up.
Okay. All right, let's see. The next question. Juniors are not able to change major. Okay, that was answered. Can you please repeat the street name monitored by police from school to subway?
Yeah, we go across, I guess that would be technically, I don't know, south, I guess, across to Atlantic. So they're monitoring across Fulton and Lafayette and all the way over to Atlantic Station. and then down DeKalb, which the school is on the main corridor, straight from DeKalb all the way down to Flatbush, where the subway is on the corner of DeKalb and Flatbush.
Okay. What is the project lead the way /art IT?
Yeah, there are classes that students can obtain credit through Rochester Institute of Technology. They're engineering-based classes in this program called Project Lead the Way, but the students get college credit through Rochester.
Ah, okay. My son's Spanish teacher doesn't have a my son's Spanish class doesn't have a teacher that speaks Spanish. Instead, they have a sub who is an Italian teacher. What should we expect about when a Spanish teacher will be hired?
We're in the works on that. I talked about that probably about 4 hours ago at this point. But yeah, we're in the works. That should be any day.
Okay, the student may be able to find guidance counselor on the pupil path, but they are still being added. Okay. This person said this is a clerical error, which is great.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
answered that. Yeah. So just go to
Okay.
the teacher. The teacher can fix a grade.
Where is the SU located?
The SGO?
SU. That's what I said. SU. Where is the SU located?
Oh,
Yeah,
the student union. It is
Oh.
in the basement, on the south side, in what was formerly the Family Welcoming Center for Brooklyn. I was able to repossess that space. A space the school has not had in about 25 years. So yeah, it's down there. It's set up like Lincoln. You know what? Why don't we go there
Yes.
tomorrow? We'll shoot a game of pool. So you
Okay.
and me. I don't know if pool's a game, but if not, we got ping pong, we got air hockey, I got foosball. So it's on
Sounds like a
tomorrow.
plan.
All right.
Sounds like a plan. Okay. All right. So that's basically it.
Okay.
And everybody's saying thank you. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
All right.
if
Thanks
I-
for coming, everyone. 230 people stay until the bitter end. I appreciate it. And please come to PA meetings. There's so much information here.
Yes.
As you notice, I never go home or I never leave until it's all done. So please engage with us. Give us information. Tell us what issues are going on out there so we can be responsive. So anyway, nice seeing everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a great evening. Thanks so much, Lincoln.
Okay. No problem. And I remember, folks, any questions, still send them to the PA president at bth.edu, and I will try to answer your questions.